Quiet, please. We're on the air in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the Great Plains Radio Theater Project is on the air. Live from the Cargill Auditorium on the campus of Western Iowa Tech Community College in Sioux City, Iowa, the Great Plains Radio Theater Project presents an afternoon of live radio drama from the golden age of radio. This afternoon, we will transport you to the jungles of Venezuela, where a deadly serpent lies in wait to send chills down your spine. Then we will visit the most famous couple in radio land, Fibber and Molly McGee, who find the crash landing of a mysterious alien craft right in their backyard. Following our station break, we will transport your mind to the Arizona deserts to tell you the tale of a true happening which began on an October day in 1904 in the Great Southwest.
La 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 la, we're happy and we're singing the Life Boy song. Be a life boy clean on all 13.
Be a life boy clean on all 13.
We're happy and we're singing the Life Boy song.
Remember, you can get BO on not just one, but 13 skin areas. The cleaner you get these 13 skin areas, the safer you are. A Lifebuoy Health Soap deodorizes all these 13 skin areas. Stops BO before it begins, stops BO up to 48 hours. Doctors have proven that Lifebuoy, with its purifying ingredients, actually gets skin cleaner than any other leading soap. Don't just trust ordinary soaps to stop BO. Use Lifebuoy every day.
Be a life boy clean on all 13.
Be a life boy clean on all 13.
We're happy and we're singing the Life Boy song.
3 leading independent research organizations made a survey of doctors' cigarette preferences. More than 113,000 doctors were asked, "What brand of cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" The brand name most was Camel. The makers of Camel cigarettes send free Camels to servicemen's hospitals from coast to coast. And this week, Camels go to veterans' hospitals in Sun Mountain, New York, the U.S. Air Station at Keesler Field in Biloxi, Mississippi, and the Veterans Hospital in Knoxville, Iowa. So remember, according to a nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarettes. This song, recorded in 1944 and was released in 1940, was the first #1 hit by Doris Day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Julie Halas.
Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. I got my bag, got my reservation. Spent each dime I could afford. Like a child in wild anticipation, I long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? I gotta take a sentimental journey home. 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearny. Why did I decide to roam? I gotta have a sentimental journey home. Sentimental journey home. Sentimental journey home.
Julie Halas. Thank you, Julie. Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? You want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Today we escape to a tropic harbor in Venezuela and the story of a grim voyage of impending death, as Martin Storm relates it in his exciting story, A Shipment of Mute Fate.
I stopped on the wharf at La Guaira and looked up at the gangplank, toward the liner Chanque standing there quietly at her moorings. The day was warm under a bright tropic sun, and the harbor beyond the ship lay drowsy and silent. But all at once, in the midst of those peaceful surroundings, a cold chill gripped me, and I shivered with sudden dread. Dread of the thing I was doing and was about to do. But too much had happened to turn back now. I'd gone too far to stop. I set the box down on the edge of the wharf, placed it carefully so as to be in plain sight, and within gunshot of the captain's bridge. Then I turned and started up the gangplank. I knew what I was going to do, but I couldn't forget that a certain pair of beady eyes were watching every move I made. Eyes that never blinked and never closed, just watched and waited.
Oh,
Pardon me.
you startled me, sir. I didn't hear. Oh, why, it's Mr. Warner.
Hello, Mother Willis. How's the best-looking stewardess on the Seven Seas?
Oh, I'm fine, Mr. Warner. It's nice to see you again.
Wait a minute. That's a fine greeting after 2 months.
Well, it's just that I'm so busy.
I don't believe a word of it. Sailing day's tomorrow. You're simply avoiding me, that's all.
No, really, I'm not.
And on the trip down from New York, you said I was your favorite passenger.
But I'm only...
Here. What's that you're carrying in your apron?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just supplies.
Supplies, huh? Let's have a look.
Oh, no, please. I just... Oh.
Why, it's a cat.
It's Clara, Mr. Warner. Mr. Bowman said I had to leave her ashore, but I just couldn't.
Who's Mr. Bowman?
The new chief steward. Clara's been aboard with me for 2 years, and I just can't leave her here in a foreign country, especially with her condition, so delicate and all.
Yes. I see what you mean. Well, I hope you get away with it.
You won't tell anyone, will you?
Not a soul. Matter of fact, Mother Willis, if I don't get my way with the captain, you and I may both end up smuggling.
Most happy to have had you on board on the trip down 2 months ago, Christopher. And I'm very glad you're coming along with us on the run back to New York.
Thanks, Captain Wood. There is one thing, though.
Oh?
I'm having a little trouble with the customs men here, and I wondered if
You can't do it, Christopher. I just cabled your father this morning. Told him I'd have done it for you if I possibly could, but he sent a request from New York, you know.
Yes, I thought he would. I wired him from upriver last week.
Well, I hated to refuse, but it's absolutely out of the question.
Captain Wood, I'm afraid I don't follow you.
Responsibility to the passengers, son. We'll have women and children aboard. And on a liner, the safety of the passengers comes ahead of anything else.
But with proper precautions, Captain.
Something might happen. I don't know what, but something might.
You've carried worse things, Captain.
Well, there isn't anything worse, Christopher. And any skipper afloat will bear me out. No, I simply can't take the chance. And that's final.
Final. It wasn't final if I could do anything about it. I hadn't come down here to spend 2 months in that stinking backcountry and then be stopped on the edge of the wharf. 2 months of it. Heat, rain, insects, malaria. I'd gone clear in past the headwaters of Orinoco. Traveled through country where every step along the jungle trail might be the last one. Oh, Sanchez.
Sí, Señor Warner?
Better tell the men to start looking for a place to camp. Be dark in a little while.
Sí, Señor. Very soon we turn to river. Compound rocks by water. This very bad country.
This very bad country. You've been saying that for 10 days now. Very bad country.
Sí, Señor Warner. This very bad country.
Ah, skip it, will ya? For all the luck we've had so far, it might as well be Central Park.
Central Park. I no understand.
Never mind, never mind. But if we don't find something... Here, what's the matter? Quiet now. Sanchez, what's wrong?
There, in the path. See? Bushmaster.
Bushmaster, the deadliest snake in the world. Bushmaster, its Latin name was Lachesis mutus, mute fate. It lay there in the center of the path, an 8-foot length of silent death, coiled loosely in an undulant loop, ready to strike violently at the least movement. Here was the one snake that would go after any animal that walked, or any man. It lay there and watched us, not moving, not afraid, ready for anything. The splotch of its colors stood out like a horribly gaudy floor mat, lying there on the brown background of the jungle, waiting for someone to step on it. Here was what I'd come 2,000 miles for. A Bushmaster. Sanchez! I didn't want that snake killed.
He no kill, Señor. He gone. Bushmaster very smart. Very quick. See bullet in time to dodge.
Anyway, he's gone. The only one we've seen in 5 weeks.
We find another. This very bad country.
We'll lay off that gun next time. Don't shoot. Do you understand?
What you say no shoot? You want Bushmaster.
Sure, but I want it alive.
Madre de Dios, Señor Warren. You tell me you want Bushmaster, you no say alive.
You're getting $200 for it.
For that man, what is $200? Tomorrow, we go back to Caracas.
I'll make it 500, Sanchez.
I catch anaconda, python, any other kind, but I no catch Bushmaster. We go back to Caracas.
Sanchez, I'll give you $1,000. It cost me $1,500. But 3 days later, Sanchez brought me the snake in a rubber bag. He was shaking so hard, I thought for a moment the thing had struck him.
One thing you make sure, Señor Warren, no turn him loose in Venezuela, because he know I the one who catch him, and he know where I live.
All right, Sanchez, I'll keep an eye on him.
I know you pay me to catch him también. All the time, he watch and wait for you. You no forget that, Señor Warren, because he no forget. Nunca, not ever.
Well, after going through all that trouble and danger, I wasn't going to let a pig-headed ship's captain stop me at the last minute. At least not as long as the cables were still in operation between La Guaira and New York. Morning, Captain Wood. The boy at the hotel said you wanted to see me.
Yes, that's right, Christopher. Sit down.
Thanks.
Well, it seems you weren't willing to let matters stand the way we left them yesterday.
I was sorry to go over your head, Captain, but I had to. The museum sent me all the way down here for it, and I'm not going to be stopped by red tape. Don't you realize this will be the only live Bushmaster ever brought to the United States?
Well, if I had my way... orders are orders. I got a cable from the head office this morning. All right. Suppose we talk about precautions.
I'll handle it any way you say.
Well, it's got to have a stronger box. That crate's too flimsy.
It's stronger than it looks, Captain, and that wire screen on top would hold the Wildcat. But anyway, I bought a heavy sea chest this morning. We'll put the crate inside of that.
Oh? Well, that sounds all right. Got a lock on it?
Heavy padlock. It's fixed so the lid can be propped open a crack without unlocking it. The snake's got to have air, you know.
But in dirty weather, that lid stays shut. I'll take no chances.
Fair enough.
We'll keep the thing in my inside cabin where I sleep. We can't have it in the baggage room, and nobody on board's to know about it. Understand?
Whatever you say, Captain. But we won't have any trouble. After all, it's only a snake, doesn't have any magical powers.
Yeah. You know, Christopher, I saw a Bushmaster in the zoo at Caracas once. Had it in a glass cage with double walls. It'd never move. Just lie there and look at you as long as you were in sight. Gave a man the creeps.
I didn't know they had a Bushmaster at the Caracas Zoo.
Well, they don't now. Found the glass broken one morning and the snake gone. The night watchman was dead. And they never found out what happened.
Well, the watchman must have broken the glass by accident some way.
But the way they figured it, the glass was broken from the inside. And we sail in 4 hours.
Into the Caribbean, with perfect weather and a sea as smooth as an inland lake. The barometer dropped a little on the third day, but cleared up overnight, and left nothing worse than a heavy swell. But in spite of the calm seas and the pleasant weather, I was becoming possessed with an ominous anxiety. I was developing an obsessive fear of that snake. I stayed clear of the passengers pretty much. Got the habit of dropping into Captain Wood's quarters several times a day. He kept the heavy box underneath his berth. I'd approach it quietly and shine my flashlight through the open crack. Never once could I catch that 8-foot devil asleep, or even excited. He'd be lying there half-coiled, his head raised a little, staring at me with those beady black eyes. Waiting. He'd still be like that when I'd turn away to leave. Maybe that's what bothered me. That horrible and constant, watchful waiting. What in the name of heaven was he waiting for?
Well, hello there, Mr. Warner.
Oh, how are you, Mother Willis?
My, but you and the captain spend an awful lot of time around this cabin. I'm beginning to think the two of you must have some guilty secret.
No, nothing like that, Mother Willis. I don't know about Captain Wood, but I certainly don't have any guilty secret. Well, she's running quite a swell out there, Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, it's a little heavy, all right, Mr. Warner. Guess a storm passed through to the west of us yesterday when the glass dropped.
Think it missed us then, huh?
Yeah, that's what the mate figures. Sure stirred up some water, though.
This'll put half the passengers in their bunks.
Makes it great for my department. 2/3 of them will want a steward to hold their heads.
Oh, they'll keep Mother Willis so busy she'll... Hey, look at the size of that wave.
What? Great Jehoshaphat. We're going to take it on the port bow. Hang on.
Wow, that was a freak if there ever was one. Not another wave that size in sight.
You see them like that sometimes, even in a calm sea. I gotta get topside, Mr. Warner. That water probably did some damage in the officer's deck.
Yeah, I suppose. Hey, Wait a minute.
Yeah?
What did you say?
Oh, the wheel companionway was open on the port side. Bridge cabins must have taken a pretty bad smashing. They're right below. Something wrong, Mr. Warner?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Bowman. At least, I hope not. Of course, I knew it was only one chance in 1,000. But the chances against that freak wave were 1 in 1,000, too. I stumbled up the companionway and along the passage to the captain's cabin.
Oh, come on in, Mr. Warner.
Mother Willis.
Isn't this cabin a mess? I'm trying to get some of these things out to dry.
Yeah, I just wanted to check. Where's that box that was under the captain's bunk?
Oh, that? Well, I just threw it out on deck here.
What?
Well, the desk over there slid into it. It was all smashed.
But the small box inside of it, what happened to it?
Oh, they were both splintered, Mr. Warner. Broke wide open.
Oh, no.
Why, Mr. Warner, you're white as a sheet.
Mother Willis, will you go find Captain Wood? Tell him to come down here immediately.
Well, of course, Mr. Warner. I'll go tell him right away.
I pulled open the top drawer of the bureau beside me and took out the captain's flashlight and a loaded pistol. Mother Willis had left a mop standing by the door. I put my foot on the head of it and snapped off the handle. Every move I made turned into slow motion. I could hear my own heart beating. Slowly, I started to search the cabin. Sodden heaps of clothing were scattered around on the wet, black floor. I punched at them one at a time, holding the gun cocked, the flashlight pointing along the stick. Nothing. I worked around the room, throwing the light into the dark corners, back of the desk, under the bunk, and wherever I turned, I could feel those cold, unblinking eyes at my back, watching and waiting. Using the stick, I pushed open the closet door and threw the light inside. Carefully, I poked at the boxes and the junk on the floor. The snake was not in the closet. Inch by inch, I covered the entire cabin. And then I realized the horrible truth.
Mother Willis just told me, Christopher.
Captain.
So it's happened?
That's right, Captain. It's happened.
Oh, and I see you found the gun. We better start searching the cabin.
Captain Wood, I just finished searching it.
Then... women, kids, and that thing loose on board. 1,000 places to hide. Heaven help us, Christopher. Well, there's no use starting to blame anybody now, gentlemen. I didn't call you officers in here to pass judgment. The thing's done, and that's that.
Well, you're right there, Captain.
What we have got to do is make up our minds how we're going to handle it.
It'd be easier if we didn't have to tell the passengers and crew, sir. I've seen panics aboard ship before.
Yes, I agree with you, Mr. Bowman, but I don't quite see how we can avoid it.
They got a right to know. As long as that snake's loose, everybody on board's in the same danger, and they all ought to know about it.
Captain Wood, that thing is 8 feet long. It can't simply crawl into a crack. Why don't we make a quick search of the whole ship before we spread any alarm?
Yes, I've thought of that, Christopher.
As far as I can see, the only place it couldn't be is in the boilers or on top of the galley stove.
It might have crawled overboard.
No, we can't count on that. We've got to assume it's on the ship somewhere.
Yeah, and that could be anywhere, in a coil of rope or in a pile of clothes.
Yes, or under some woman's berth. Or a baby's crib.
Or even in...
You've already said it. That Bushmaster could be anywhere. We've got to do something. We've got to do it fast.
All right, gentlemen. I think the best idea is to follow Mr. Warner's suggestion and make a quick search first. You agree to that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I do.
Then, if we don't find it, we'll have to warn the passengers.
Captain, we've got to find it. Alone in the dim baggage room, I went through the same movements as I had earlier in the captain's cabin. Gun in one hand, flashlight in the other, poking into every dark corner, behind every trunk and every box. Since there was no one in the baggage room, I could keep the gun cocked and ready. The rest of those poor devils were having to do the same thing, barehanded. All over the ship, the search went on.
Here now, steward, what on earth are you doing rummaging through my cabin?
Just checking up, ma'am.
Well, I'm quite sure there's nothing in here that has to be checked.
Sorry, ma'am. Captain's orders. It'll only take a few minutes.
Well, I never heard of such a thing. A passenger simply doesn't have any privacy at all. I've traveled on a lot of different lines, but I've certainly never heard of anything so completely high.
I'm sorry, sir. I wonder if you wouldn't mind moving over to the other rail. I'd like to look through these lockers.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. What's the matter? You lost something?
No, just looking things over.
There's nothing in there but life preservers.
Yeah, that's right.
Must be getting ready to think about sinking the boat, huh? Gonna collect all that insurance money? Gonna send us all back to the bottom, huh?
But not one of us could find that deadly snake. Perhaps coiled in some dark corner or outstretched along a window seat. Not one of us caught a glimpse of that horrid head with its beady black watchful eyes. It was nearly dark when we met together again in the chart room.
Well, gentlemen, there's no other way around it. We've risked all the time we can. We've got to warn the passengers.
But how we do it, Captain? Call them all together in the lounge?
No. If we did anything like that, we'd be asking for a panic.
We'll get one whether we ask for it or not.
Pick a few men and go through the cabin decks. Tell them individually, inside their cabins. Watch for any that act like they might cause trouble, and we'll keep an eye on them. Handle the crew the same way.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir.
Now, as soon as you're finished, arm all the deck officers and start searching again. Our only chance of preventing a panic is to find that snake.
The slow nightmare that followed grew worse by the hour. None of us slept. All the ship's officers not on duty kept on with that endless search. Passengers locked themselves in their cabins or huddled together in the lounges, knowing all the time that no spot on board could be called safe. Fear was a heavy fog in the lungs of us all, and every light on the vessel burned throughout the night. Morning came and brought no relief. Terror and tension mounted by the hour.
There now, Mrs. Crane. Go back to your cabin. The horrid thing's probably crawled overboard anyway.
No, you're just saying that. You're paid to say it. You don't know. Nobody does.
Now, everything's gonna be all right.
Oh, if only we could get off the ship. We could fumigate it. Yes, that's what we've got to do. We've got to get off the ship.
Mr. Bowman, she's gonna jump.
No, you don't, lady.
Let me go.
Nice work, Mr. Bowman, nice work. Now, get her down to her cabin, and whatever you do, don't let her loose.
I'm telling you, you don't know where it's gonna strike. Why you can't put on your coat or move a chair without risking your life. Something's gotta be done. It might be right here in this lounge.
All right, mister. You better quiet down and take it easy.
Take it easy, huh? You're a great officer. Why don't you do something about it? The thing might be crawling around here right under our feet somewhere.
Hey, I said shut up. Are you trying to start a panic?
I've got a right to talk. I don't want to die. Nobody's going to tell me what I...
The second night passed, and morning came around again. A gray and rainy day that dragged by with leaden hours. And then night came down again, third night of the terror. Again every light burned, and the whole ship seethed in the throes of incipient panic. Faced by a horror they'd never met on the sea before, crew and officers alike were on the verge of revolt. Passengers huddled in a trance-like stupor, ready to scream at the slightest unknown sound. At 7 bells, I made my way forward to the chart room and found Captain Wood bent over a desk.
Oh, hello, Christopher. Come on in, sit down.
It's got to be somewhere, Captain Wood. It's got to be.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you could search this ship for 6 months and never touch all the hiding places aboard. If we could only hold out for 2 more days, we'll be in port.
What's your home office say?
Oh, here's the latest wireless from them. Keep quiet and keep coming. Well, what else can we do? You want a cigarette?
Yeah, thanks.
Here. So, how is it below, Christopher?
It's pretty bad. Anything could happen.
Yeah. That's why I took the guns away from the men. When one pistol shot and we'd have a riot on our hands.
The whole thing's my fault, Captain Wood. That's what I can't forget.
Oh, take it easy, son.
If there was only some way I could pay for it myself, alone.
No. Now, I know how you feel, but it's no more your fault than mine, or the man who asked you to bring that snake back alive. Nobody planned for this. Now look, Christopher, I think you'd better try to get a little sleep.
Sleep. Ha!
Now, Mr. Bowman's made some coffee down in the steward's gallery a while ago. You'd better go down and get yourself a cup and then rest for a couple of hours.
Rest? I can't rest.
Christopher! It's not going to help any if you stumble through a hatch half asleep and break your neck. Now, go on and get some coffee. One way or another, we've got to hold out for 2 more days.
The light was on in the steward's galley. Coffee pot was standing on the stove. It was still warm, so I didn't bother to heat it. Poured out a cup, carried it over and set it on the porcelain tabletop in the center of the room. I started to light a cigarette. The door of the pan cupboard beneath the sink was standing slightly ajar. I happened to glance toward it. I dropped the cigarette and moved slowly backward. I'd found the Bushmaster. As I moved, the snake slid out of the cupboard in a single sinuous slide and drew back into a loose coil on the galley floor, never taking his eyes off me. I backed slowly away, waiting any moment for that deadly slithering strike. How had he known it was me? He'd stayed quiet when Bowman was here. How had he picked the first time in 5 days that I was without a gun? My hands touched the wall behind me, and I stopped in terror. The call button and door were on the far side of the room. I'd backed into a dead end. I stared at the snake in fascination, expecting any moment the ripping slash of those poisoned fangs. The lethal coils tightened a little, then were still again. 10 million years of evolution to produce this moment. Homo sapiens versus Lachesis mutus. A man against mute fate. And all the odds were on fate. I knew then that I was going to die. I could feel the sweat run down between the wall and the palms of my hands, pressing against it. My skin crawled and twitched, and the pit of my stomach was cold as ice. There was no sound but the rush of blood in my ears. The snake shifted again, drawing into a tighter coil, always tighter. Why didn't the devil get it over with? Then, for an instant, his head veered away. Something moved by the stove. I didn't dare turn to look at it. Slowly it entered my line of vision. It was a cat. That scrawny cat Clara that Mother Willis had sneaked aboard in La Guaira. Its back was arched, and every hair stood on end. It moved stiff-legged now, walking in a half circle around the snake. The Bushmaster moved slowly and kept watching the cat. He tightened. He was going to strike at any second. He struck and missed. The cat was barely out of reach. Now she was walking back and forth again. She was asking to die. Missed again, by a fraction of an inch. He was striking now without even going into full coil. Missed, again and again, always missing by the barest margin. Each time the cat danced barely out of reach, and each time she countered with one precise spat of a dainty paw, bracing her skinny frame on 3 stiff legs. And then suddenly, I realized what she was doing. The Bushmaster was tiring, and one strike was just an instant slow. But in that split second, sharp claws raked across the evil head and ripped out both the lidless eyes. The cat has deliberately blinded the snake. He didn't bother to coil now, but slid after her in a fury, striking wildly, but always missing. And every strike was a little slower than the last one. Until finally, as the snake's neck stretched out at the end of a strike, the cat made one leap and sank her razor-sharp teeth just back of the ugly head. Sank them until they crunched bone. With tooth and claw she clung as the monstrous snake flailed and lashed on the floor, striving to get those hideous coils around her, trying to break her hold, to shake off the slow and certain paralyzing death that gradually crept over him, and at last stilled his struggles forever. I took a deep breath, the first in minutes. The cat lay on her side of the floor, panting, resting from the fight just over. Well, she had a right to rest. That mangy, brave, beautiful alley cat had just saved my life, and maybe others as well. But as I turned toward the stove, I suddenly became very humble. And I knew all at once what a small thing a human being really is. There were 3 reasons why that cat had fought and killed the world's deadliest snake. And those 3 reasons came tottering out from under the stove on shaky little legs. 3 kittens with their eyes bright with wonder and their tails stiff as pokers. Up on the decks, hundreds of passengers were waiting for the news that the days and nights of terror were ended. Well, they could wait a little longer. I pulled open the doors of the cabinet and found a can of milk and a saucer. Then I dropped down on my knees on the floor of the galley.
The original episode of Escape was produced and directed by William M. Rhodeson. A Shipment of Mute Fate was written by Martin Storm. Today, the role of Chris Warner was played by Benji Cotter. Joanne Fox was Mother Willis, and John Krager portrayed Captain Wood. Chief Steward Bowman was played by Andy Nelson. Sanchez, the expedition foreman, was portrayed by Christian Supiat. And the ship's mate was Chad Gall. Kathy Fouch was the woman passenger, and Derek Hill was the male passenger. This is the CBS Broadcasting System.
Tide's in, dirt's out, tide Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap.
Any soap?
Yes, any soap. Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap. T-I-D-E, Tide.
Even in hardest water, Procter & Gamble's Tide gets all the dirt out of your whole family's wash. Take the drudgery out of laundry day with T-I-D-E Tide.
Tide's in, dirt's out. Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap. T-I-D-E, Tide.
This song captures dizzying, lightheaded feelings that being in love provides. First recorded in 1954 and written by Bart Howard, and famously re-recorded by Frank Sinatra in 1964. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andy Nelson.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Andy Nelson. Thank you, Andy. It's the Johnson's Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Water Repellent Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie. Recent surveys disclose important news about Johnson's Glow Coat. They show that families with children are among the biggest users of this self-polishing floor wax that is now positively water repellent. And now it's easy to see why. With children in the house, mud and snow abound and are tracked in along with water and food that are bound to be splashed and spilled. Well, that's when you thank your lucky stars for Glow Coat. So tomorrow, get Johnson's Glow Coat. It's in the familiar gold package. Well, there's been a great deal of discussion lately, pro and con, about flying saucers. The pro people swear they've seen them. The con people say the pro people are victims of mass hysteria. And here is one of those con men and his wife, Fibber McGee and Molly.
And furthermore, you show me a guy that claims he's seen a flying saucer, and I'll show you a guy that the whole thing is just a mere pygmy of his imagination.
You don't mean pygmy, dearie. A pygmy is a tiny little human being.
Yeah, well, they claim they've seen them too. Men from Mars, 23 inches tall with big heads. The whole thing is ridiculous. It's mass hysteria.
Oh, now, I wouldn't dismiss the subject as easily as that, McGee. The paper said this morning that a military pilot chased one for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and did he catch it? No, sir. Did anybody ever catch one? No, sir, and why not? Because they're an optical derision. That's why.
Look, sweetheart, Army pilots aren't usually hysterical people. Transport flyers must have good eyesight, or they wouldn't be flying transports. I'm inclined to think that, where there's so much smoke, it can't always be a false alarm.
Okay, Tootsie, okay, you'll see. When they finally catch up with one of them things, you'll see that nobody ever will. This stuff is nothing new. Who was it back in 1912 that reported seeing a spaceship from Jupiter flying low and slow over the brewery back in Peoria? Me, that's who.
You?
You betcha. And what did it turn out to be? A baby caterpillar crawling across my sunglasses. Flying saucers? Ta-da!
All right, I won't argue, my love, but I'm still not convinced.
Well, I am. My personal opinion is that anybody that claims he's seen a flying saucer ought to go to a good optometrist and get his peepers overhauled. Well, I gotta go downtown. You wanna go with me?
Yeah, it's a nice day for a walk. What are you going to do downtown?
I gotta go see a good patent lawyer about my new invention.
Oh, invention?
Uh-huh.
You mean the plastic cross piece for radial aerials so the neighbors will think you have a television set?
No, this is a new type of alarm clock. It's got a sponge rubber bell that you can't hear it when it rings on Sunday mornings.
You ought to make a small fortune with that. Very small. I'll get my hat, dearie. Come in.
Well, if it ain't the big pink doctor with the little black bag. Hello, doctor.
Well, hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hello, McGee. Hello, Molly. Going somewhere?
Yes, but I always wear my hat in the house anyway. Then if somebody comes to the door that I don't want to talk to, I can say I'm on my way out. And if it's somebody I like, I can say that I just came in.
In this case, we're just going out.
All right, I can take a hint. I'm not as thick-skinned as somebody I know that I could reach out and touch if I hadn't just washed my hands. Can I drop you any place, McGee? Like, maybe on the top of your head?
Well, we were just going downtown, Doctor, and you can give us a lift if you like. And by the way, you're an educated man, Doctor. What is your opinion of these flying saucers?
Educated man, my clavicle. He's the type of ignoramus that believes anything.
Child, I've been practicing medicine for 30 years.
Practicing is right.
I believe everything and nobody. If hundreds of reputable citizens claimed to see strange things in the sky, I'd be the last one to prescribe scoff medicine.
Now there, McGee. You see, Dr. Gamble is no skeptic.
Oh, he's open-minded, all right. The wind blows right through it. So you believe in this flying saucer mahula, eh? How childish.
I did not say I believed in them.
Oh?
But I don't deny there might be such things. I've never heard a Republican play the Missouri Waltz on a piano either, even if President Truman was playing the keys, but that doesn't prove it couldn't happen.
We're on the front burner now.
Come on, I'll drive you downtown.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Much obliged. And if I see any spaceships on the way, I'll let you know.
Thanks. Are you ready, Molly?
Yes, let's go, gentlemen.
Flying saucers. Flying saucers. That's pure mob psychiatry. That's what it is. Hysteria. I'll believe in him when I see him, and by George, I'll bet it'll be a long time before...
Heavenly days! Look up there! Look, it's a, oh.
Hey, Doc, it's coming this way. Hey, my gosh, it's a flying saucer. Look at the tubes and the knobs and look at its smoke right in our own front yard.
Great.
Yow!
God, if I hadn't believed this with my own eyes, I wouldn't have seen it.
Stay away from it. Stay away from it, boys. It might be dangerous. What do you think, Doctor?
I don't know. It's a weird-looking object.
I gotta report this. I'll call Washington, the Hexagon building. You wait here and keep an eye on it. Where's the phone? Hand me the phone. Hello? Hello, operator? Give me long Washington, D.C. distance. Connect me with the Army. Yeah. Hello, Army? This is Fibber McGee in Wistful Vista. A flying saucer just crashed in my front yard. Huh? What do you say, Army? Rope it off and keep people away from it, eh? Okay, Army. Right. Get some rope, Doc. Get some rope. We gotta rope it off. Keep people away from it. Orders from Washington. I called them.
What'd they say?
They say it's a lot of silly nonsense and don't talk about it to anybody. They said it was probably just my imagination and they're gonna rush out and take pictures of it. Oh boy, a flying saucer right in our own front yard. And the first time I seen it, it was coming in low over the trees with its rockets shooting out blue flames.
All right, folks, keep moving, keep moving.
I seen it was in trouble, see? And I says to my wife, look, I says, a flying saucer. There's no such thing, she says. And then I says, don't be so skeptical. And I says, and she says that...
All right, folks, move it along, keep moving. And you, Gabby, get off them front steps and run along.
He doesn't have to get off those steps. He lives here. Don't you, Gabby?
Huh?
McGee.
You betcha. Now don't start ordering me around, Flatfoot. I'm the fellow that first seen that flying saucer. I seen it crash too. It was coming in low over the trees, see? With its rocket shooting blue flames. I seen it was in trouble because...
Yeah. I heard you tell it 12 times already. Hey, you kids, get away from them ropes!
My, I haven't seen such excitement since the lion got loose at the circus and you chased him back into his cage, McGee.
I wasn't chasing him. He grabbed my hot dog and I was trying to get it back.
Heavenly days, what are they doing now?
Let's go over and see. And don't get too close, Tootsie. That thing might be retroactive.
Radioactive. Retroactive means it goes back.
Well, this baby won't go back. Looks like our kitchen stove after I made pancakes, all battered up. Hey, folks, let us through here, please. Let us through. We're the people who've seen the crash. Let us through.
Look, Joe, there's that pot-bellied little moron that's been ordering everybody around. He must think he owns his place.
He don't own nothing. Petty larceny little twerp. He'll probably want to charge us 4 bits a head for standing here.
All right, folks, all right now. You're all trespassing on my property, you know. Everybody that wants to stay and watch, it'll cost you 2 bits a head.
Now, take it easy, dearie. You can't charge people. Oh, hello there, Andy. Come on inside.
Oh, hi, Andy.
Let the man through, folks. Let him through.
Well, hello, Molly. Hello, Fib. Hey, here you got a flying saucer out there. Is it that pile of junk?
That's it, Andy. Me and Molly and Doc Gamble seen it crash. I first seen it coming low over the trees, see? Flying low with orange and green lights, and 5 little men sticking their heads out of the porthole. It circled the city hall, and then they all bailed out in the whole bunch.
McGee?
Huh?
They did not
Well, they must have. There was nobody in it when it hit.
Well, this is very interesting. This is the first real proof we've had of interplanetary travel. Hey, I'm gonna ask for a bigger sales territory for Johnson's wax products.
Huh?
Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus. Ah, Venus. That's for me.
Maybe they don't have any linoleum on Mars, Andy.
Well, they won't have any Mars on their linoleum either. They sure won't when I sell them that wonderful Johnson's water repellent glow coat. The finest protection against Mars and scratches and spilled things that money can buy.
You seriously think you could take a spaceship up through the Milky Way to sell Glow Coat?
The Milky Way is the way a lot of linoleum looks after damp mopping, pal. But the Johnson's water repellent glow coat way leaves no milky looking streaks. By Jupiter.
Well, that's all very well to sell wax from a spaceship, Andy. But what if you should run into those big, what do you call that star with a tail?
Lassie?
Oh, you.
Ah, but this is a fascinating idea. Just think, flying through space, Johnson's star salesman carrying the Johnson's water repellent glow coat message through the whole solar system, showing the housewives on thousands of other planets how simply and easily and economically they can protect their wood and linoleum floors against cosmic dust and tracked in mud from meteor showers with the wax protection that stays on and stays bright.
Andy, what do you seriously think of these flying saucers?
Well, I think they'd fly much faster with a coat of Johnson's wax. So long, folks.
You were Comrade McGee?
Yes, we are, sir. I mean, he is. I'm Mrs. McGee, his wife, by marriage.
Duh.
Hi, Mr. Da.
No, not duh. My name is Sergei Petrovsky. I'm tourist.
Isn't that a Russian name, sir?
Нет, Petrovsky's good American name. You give me loyalty oath, I sign. Then I take plenty pictures flying saucers. You care?
No, just as long as you ain't a spy, bud. Do you want a story to go with it? Well, sir, I first seen it coming in low over the trees at an altitude of 10,000 foot, see?
Where did you say you were from, sir?
Brooklyn grad. Now I take pictures. Out of the way, capitalists. I take plenty pictures. Click, click. Click, click.
Pleasant guy, and that mustache looks so familiar.
Well, McGee, this is quite an exhibit you have here. As mayor of the town in which a real flying saucer was first seen, I would like to say...
The first time we saw it, Mr. Mayor, it was coming in low over the trees there.
I'll tell it, kiddo. I'll tell it. I've had more practice. It was coming in low over them trees, Latrivia, flying low and kind of wobbly.
Yes. I've heard all about it, McGee. You haven't been exactly reticent about this, you know.
You bet I haven't. The Army told me not to talk. Security reasons. Top secret.
Well, I've always said that if you want to keep flying saucers a secret, there's nothing like sending them across the sky on a clear day to crash in some talkative fellow's front yard with a loud noise.
Mr. Mayor, what do you think of this thing?
Well, it's the first one I've seen, Molly. My nephew is an airline pilot. He chased a flying saucer last week for 20 minutes.
My gosh, did he catch it, Latriv?
No, but he would have if he'd been in his airplane. As it was, he tripped on a curb and fell flat on his head.
Now stand back, bud. Don't touch the flying saucer. Security rules, you know. Now stand back.
Oh, McGee.
Huh?
There's a lady wants to see you.
Oh.
This is my husband, Miss Dendron.
Oh, I'm so happy to know you, Mr. McGee.
Well, thanks, sis. What'd you say your name was?
Dendron, Mr. McGee. Rhoda Dendron of the Wistful Vista Peony and Petunia Club.
Oh.
The girls have asked me to interview you for our club paper, the Petunia Planter.
Isn't that nice, dearie?
Oh, you mean on account of finding the saucer, eh?
Yes.
The Petunia Planter, eh? Well, you can tell your readers, sis, that I was well known as a planter myself at one time.
Why, really, Mr. McGee? Let me take some notes. Oh, this will just thrill the girls. What did you plant, Mr. McGee?
Corn, mostly.
No, I had charge at one time of my Aunt Rose's raisin ranch, and we raised more real raisins than any raisin ranch has raised in recent years.
Oh, dear.
Raising raisins?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my. Let me write this down. Every word of it. Our readers will just love it.
Well, Rhoda, Aunt Rose's raisin ranch raised such good raisins that we started raising raisin prices. And the raisin prices of Rose's ranch raised raisins raised holy heck with the other raisin ranchers. I watched the raisin market for recent rises in raisin rates, and by the time the rates of real ranch-raised raisins rose, all the raisins we raised was rotted right on Rose's ranch. So between raisin raisins and raisin ranchers and raisin rates and rotten raisins, we plowed the whole thing up and planted tulips. Did you get that, sis? Did you write it down?
Well, I broke the point on my pencil.
Oh.
Would you mind repeating that?
I don't have the energy now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Excuse me, sis, I got to go speak to a man over here.
Yes, pardon us, Miss Petunia.
Hey, Bud, you in the uniform, the scrambled eggs on the shoulder and the gravy on your sleeve. You looking for me?
Are you McGee?
Yes, he is, sir, and I am Mrs. McGee.
How do you do, Mrs. McGee? I am General Bacon, head of intelligence.
Well, I'm glad to know you, General. Well, sir, we was standing on the lawn when all of a sudden...
Oh, wait, McGee!
Thank you very much, Mr. McGee. But I have a complete report from the police and from my men. We'll take charge now.
I think I'd better fill you in, General, just in case they missed any details. You'll want an eyewitness account to take back to General Eisenhower anyway.
Eisenhower has retired, McGee.
Well, wake him up! My gosh, this thing is important. Now, for the first time, I seen this flying saucer, General. It was coming in low at high altitude with its rocket shooting out blue flame. Where are you going, Molly?
In the house a minute, dearie. I've heard this till I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah, me too. But anyway, like I say, it was coming in low over the trees. Hey, General, where'd he go? Oh, well, if nobody wants to hear about the flying saucer, I guess I might as well.
All right, let me through, please. Let me through. Coming through, I'm a personal friend of the family's. Let me through, please. Hi, mister.
Well, hi, Teeny. Better get up here on the porch, sis, before you get stepped on.
Thank you, mister. Oh, boy, policemen and soldiers and... Gee, what's all the crowd for, mister? What's it for? Tell me, I betcha.
Well, they're here to see me, sis. You see, I have just become the first man to establish contact with another planet. I have just had a visit from Mars.
Mars?
Yeah.
Gee, did he give you any candy bars, mister? Huh? I love Mars bars.
No, sis. Now, look. You ever hear of flying saucers, Teeny?
Oh, sure I have. I betcha.
Yeah?
Me and Willie Troops made one this morning, mister.
Oh, you did, hey? You and Willie Toops made a flying saucer?
Sure, I betcha.
Oh?
We had some big, huge skyrockets left over from last year. We fastened them onto my mama's old roasting pan and lit them. And they sailed over our house and... Hey, there it is.
What?
That's our flying saucer.
That? What?
Hey, Willie!
You mean...
Sure. Willie, here's our flying saucer in the driveway. Move aside, everybody. That's mine. Hey, Willie, here it is.
You know, McGee, I was very surprised that Mayor Latrivia was fooled by that flying saucer. He was a chief gunner's mate in the Coast Guard, you know.
Yeah, done a lot of time in submarines, too. He says they used to while away the time playing cards while they were submerged.
My, think of that. Playing cards deep under the ocean.
Yeah, but as Latrivia says, there's been a lot of bridge under the water since then. Get it, kiddo? Bridge under the water, water under the bridge.
Tain't funny, McGee.
Oh, well, you can't laugh very loud in a submarine anyway. It uses up too much air.
Good night, all.
Good night, folks.
The makers of Johnson's Wax and Water Repellent Glow Coat in Racine, Wisconsin, bring you Fibber McGee and Molly each week at this time. Be with us again next week. The role of Fibber was played by Bill McKinney. Molly was portrayed by Joanne Fox. The role of Dr. Gamble was played by Gary Lewis. Benji Carter played the police officer, and Andy Nelson was Andy, the Johnson's Wax salesman. Delane Krager played the woman in the crowd, and Derek Hill played the man in the crowd. Sarah J. was portrayed by Chad Gall. Mike Kegley was Mayor Latrivia. Rhododendron was played by Kathy Fouch. The General was John Krager, and Teeny was played by Luca Soka. Our audio technician is Maji Swain. Our acoustical sound effects guy is Joshua Gall. And I'm your announcer, Ralph Swain. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America is asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. On a highway or a road along a levee, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet.
This year's new line of Chevys are now on sale at your nearby Kneffler Chevrolet dealership. Our sales staff are ready to give you a great trade-in on your current car and make you a deal you can't refuse with a brand new Chevrolet. So drive down to Kneffler Chevrolet in Sioux City and order a new Chevy in the color of your choice with all the options you want. And then see the USA in your Chevrolet.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. The Rockies way out west are calling you. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA, where fields of rolling wheat pass in review. Whether traveling lighter with the load that's heavy, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet.
A doody-a-da, doody-a-da, a doody-a-da. Pepsi Cola hits the spot. 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel, too. Pepsi Cola is the drink for you. Nickel, 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 trickle, 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 nickel, 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 trick.
Whether it's in a chilled bottle or out the soda fountain counter at your nearest drugstore, drink a cool, refreshing Pepsi Cola today. Pepsi, the nickel drink for everyone.
Doody-a-da, a doody-a-da, doody-a-da, a doody-a-da. Pepsi Cola hits the spot. 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel, too. Pepsi Cola is the drink for you. Nickel, 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 trickle, 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 nickel, 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 trick.
The following song, with music and lyrics written by Cole Porter, was debuted in 1934 at the Neil Simon Theater on Broadway. And now please welcome back Andy Nelson.
In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking. Now heaven knows anything goes. Good authors too, who once knew better words, now only use four-letter words, write in prose. Anything goes. The world has gone mad today, and good's bad today, and black's white today, and day's night today, when most guys today that women prize today are just silly gigolos. So though I'm not a great romancer, I know that you're bound to answer when I propose. Anything goes. Olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking. Now heaven knows anything goes. And good authors too, who once knew better words, now only use four-letter words, write in prose, 'cause anything goes. The world has gone mad today, and good's bad today, and black's white today, and day's night today, when most guys today that women prize today are just silly gigolos. So though I'm not a great romancer, I know that you're bound to answer when I propose. Anything goes. May I say before this record spins to a close, I want you to know anything goes.
The following radio play is based upon material from the book The Great Arizona Orphan Abduction by Linda Gordon. It was written for inclusion in the Great Southwest Radio Theater Project Arizona Stories series by Bill Alwyn of Coolidge, Arizona.
Go to sleep, you little baby. Go to sleep, you little baby. Your mama's gone away and your daddy's gonna stay. Didn't leave nobody but the baby.
Saturday, October 1st, 1904, on a westbound train somewhere south of Clifton, Arizona. It was coming on evening.
As a child, and later a man, I learned to love the sound of a train engine from a distance. It is the sound of strength and change and all possibilities set into powerful motion. And for a young orphan fresh off the streets of Brooklyn, the music a moving locomotive makes is the sound of hope itself.
Ain't we there yet, Sister Irene?
Not yet, child. Remember, patience is a virtue.
But I'm hungry.
And I'm thirsty.
You'll both be having your suppers, I suspect, with your new families in Arizona.
Will we have brothers and sisters like we did back in the orphanage?
I suspect you will, although not as many.
Do girls get to wear pretty dresses in Arizona?
The good girls do.
Am I a good girl, Sister Irene?
When you say your prayers and mind your elders, and listen to your new parents, dearie. Parents know what is best for you.
Are there still Apache Indians in Arizona? What about Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp? Are they still living in Arizona?
Don't be expecting to see wild Indians or Wyatt Earp. Where you're going, Jerome? It's the new century, dearies, and Arizona's becoming as civilized as the rest of this good nation.
As civilized as Brooklyn?
Well, maybe not as civilized as Brooklyn.
Look, sister, is that a tree?
It's a kind of a tree. Out here in Arizona, they call their trees cactus.
Look, there's another one.
They don't offer much shade, do they? Not in a place where shade is needed.
Oh, that's the way God works, children. In the desert, everyone must learn to make their own shade.
Altogether, there had been 57 orphans on that train the night we left Grand Central Station. Boys and girls ranging in ages from 8, like myself, all the way down to the runts at 6 months. The orphan train made scheduled stops in Chicago, St. Louis, Arkansas, and Houston, Texas. We came from the Foundling Hospital and Children's Aid Society, a Catholic orphan agency back in New York. Irish, Bohunk, and Italian kids mostly, all of us orphans on our way to new homes in the West. The agency had arranged in advance for 19 of us to get off the train at Clifton, where we would meet our new families. There wasn't much future for orphans back in New York. For some of us, Clifton, Arizona was the end of the line.
Sister Irene!
Quiet, girl. I think we're almost there.
Look, there it is.
What do you see, Jerome?
I see...
Get your head back inside the coach this instant, Jerome. Do you want to get it chopped off?
Clifton ain't very big, is it? Not like Chicago or New York.
Big enough for the likes of you, young man. Don't worry. You'll learn to love this town and call it home.
Having grown up on the streets of New York, I was already well versed in the ways of the world by the time I left Grand Central Station. Still, nothing quite prepared me or the 18 other orphans on the train for what waited for us in that copper mining town of Clifton.
Look at that little boy in the blue sailor suit. He walks with a limp. And the little blonde girl holding that little nun's hand. Aren't they just the cutest?
They must be the ones from the orphan train. Aren't they darling?
And look, there's that Mexican woman, Margarita Chacun. Ain't she the one? Because her husband works for my Henry in the mine.
Well, when he's sober. When's she doing here?
You don't suppose that poor woman who's lost a dozen of her own in childbirth?
I'm not surprised. Living in filth the way those people do.
Look, Dorothy, she's handing that nun a ticket. You don't suppose she's come to collect those 2 children, do you?
I do indeed. Look at her with that ticket like it was some kind of raffle or something.
Like it was some kind of Chinese laundry and trading what ticket in for a ready-made family like they were 2 baskets of clean white laundry.
What would these people know about clean laundry?
Here she comes now, all pleased with herself, wouldn't you say, Dorothy?
Good evening, señoras.
Well, what have we here, Margarita?
These are our new children who have come to live with us. They have come all the way from New York. Are they muy lindo and linda? No?
These people? The nuns and the man who calls himself a priest? They gave these children away? To you? Just like that?
Sí, I mean, yes. We signed the papers last month. It's wonderful, no? They are my familia now. My daughter and my son. How lucky for us.
Yes, how lucky for you.
What names were they given?
Catherine and Jerome. Good American names, no?
But I suppose you'll change them to something like Lupita and Peppy?
Catherine and Jerome? That is their names. Why would I change them?
Come on, Dorothy.
Where are we going, Mildred?
We're going to the sheriff. There's God's work to be done here.
Having raised myself those first years in Brooklyn, I recognized trouble when I smelled it. And to my nose, those 2 old biddies.
Miss Simpson and Miss Gotti stink worse than the city skunks. Margarita Chacon, my new mother, she smelled skunk too, though she had a lot more practice ignoring the stink.
Come, niños.
Where are we going?
I take you home to meet your new father.
Will I have my own room?
Yes, you will have your own room, a small room.
And will my room have a window?
See, it has a window.
With white lace curtains?
Not yet, but you and I, together, mija, we can make our own curtains. Now, both of you, give me your hands. Niños, did you get fed at the train?
We had biscuits and cold black coffee for breakfast back in El Paso.
Biscuits and coffee? I must get you home for a glass of cold leche. Come, children, you must be starving. Hay arroz and frijoles on the stove, tortillas in the oven.
I've never ate tortillas back in the orphanage home.
Then you are in for a sweet surprise when you get to your new home.
That night, Miss Chacon took Catherine and me straight home. I can still hear our footsteps walking down that Main Street boardwalk, with everyone still staring at us long after we reached the dirt road.
She held Kathy's hand on one side and my hand on the other.
I liked the way Miss Chacon smelled, kind of different from the smells of New York and not too soapy like Sister Irene. I liked the way she held my hand too, firm but gentle. Miss Chacon's hands weren't soft and spongy like Sister Irene's, and she held on to mine in a way that made me feel safe all over, like she was never letting go. That night, before dinner, Kathy and I met Mr. Chacon, who hugged us both before we washed our hands and faces, and we all sat down to the table. Mr. Chacon said grace, just like in the orphanage. This time, the words were in a language I didn't recognize, but having been around all those Catholics back in the orphanage, I caught the gist of his prayers. It seems my new mother and father had lost a couple of their own children when they were still babies, and now they were both thankful as hell, excuse my Brooklynese, to have Kathy and me as their new family.
Amen.
Amen. Welcome to your new home, children.
What's that?
What? Mijo, they did not feed you tortillas back in the orphan school?
The food was strange and took some time getting used to. This was the first time I ever ate frijoles, a fancy word for mashed beans, which we ate plenty of back in the orphanage. But these frijoles were different. Hotter than horseradish they were, and good. The milk Mr. Chacon poured for me from a pitcher helped to cool my scalded mouth. And the tortillas they served instead of biscuits were warm and buttery and practically melted in my mouth. Or maybe it was the heat from those new frijoles. After dinner, we had fresh watermelon picked from their garden for dessert. I tell you, after that orphanage back in New York, I could have gone on living with my new madre and padre and their frijoles and watermelons just about forever. Probably would have, too, if those old biddies back at the station hadn't butted in. You see, that same evening, a bunch of those women got their husbands all worked up over what they saw at the station, and they all swarmed over to the lobby of the Morenci Hotel and had themselves what folks call out west a town meeting, and what the Irish back in New York called a riot. There must have been 200 of those concerned citizens standing in the lobby, and maybe another 100 or so all backed up into the street.
Something needs to be done about this, Sheriff Dunnigan. What will people say? All those poor orphans, those babies, living here with those people. It isn't right, Sheriff. You know how those people live.
What people, Mrs. Gotti?
You know what I mean. The Mexicans. Most of them don't even have a trade. They can't afford to feed their own children, and yet they want more. This kind of over-the-border greed has got to stop.
I'm told they're good Catholics. That's why they adopted those children in the first place.
Good Catholics.
Worst of the lot, that Chacon family. You know the ones I mean. The woman's all right, I guess, but her husband, Cornelio, I think he calls himself, he's a good Catholic, all right. He drinks like one of their priests.
Don't it make you stop and think why they even want more hungry mouths to feed? That is, if they even intend to feed those poor kids at all.
Right now, the only thing that makes me stop and think is what some of you people will come up with next. Now settle down out there, all of you. I've got Sister Irene and them other nuns with me from that foundling school back in New York. And you folks are scaring these poor, unfortunate women to death.
What these women did isn't Christian, Sheriff, and you know it.
I wish you folks would stop trying to tell me what I know and what I don't know.
Somebody in this town has to do the right thing by those children.
And the time is now. Some of them people down at Taco Flats have lice. And worse.
Quiet now. Quiet! I'm going to let Sister Irene speak for herself now. Give her a chance to defend herself. Let's all be fair here, folks.
Okay, we'll be fair. We'll let the sister speak, and then we'll run the little waddling penguin out of town. Is that fair enough for you, Sheriff?
Sister Irene?
We picked good Catholic families for these unfortunate orphans back in New York, just like we were told.
That's the problem right there. Catholic families. You sisters are from New York. Do you have any idea what it means to be a Catholic family in this town? And when was the last time you ever saw a good one? They all drink, and most of them don't bathe but twice a year, if that. Look at their clothes, the rags they wear. You ever been inside one of these adobe Catholic shacks, what these people call their home, Sheriff?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Then you probably have lice in your hair, the same as them.
Now quiet. Quiet. Quiet!
If it's a matter of getting those children back, we can do that, can't we, folks?
Yeah, we can do that right now. Coming, Sheriff?
Now that's enough. We'll have none of that here.
You ain't listening to us, Sheriff. If we have to take back that what doesn't rightfully belong to us, we're not asking your permission. And if you don't go up there tonight strong and forceful like we pay you for, then the rest of us will.
I warned you, we'll have none of that. None of it.
My husband's right, Sheriff. What right did these Catholic people way back in New York City have given away these children to improper strangers out here? They probably stole them kids off the streets to begin with. Look around you, Sheriff.
Yeah, who do you think pays your salary? Now how about earning it?
And ask yourself this, who's more qualified, morally and financially speaking, to raise these kids right? Us or an ignorant bunch of half-breed Mexican Indians?
I believe they prefer to be called Norteños up here, Mrs. Gotti. And unlike some folks I see standing before me tonight, most of these people were born in this country.
Born here. Norteo, huh? Everyone knows that's just a fancy word for Mexican born on this side of the border, and they only made up the word to make themselves sound better than they are. Now, where are the men in this town, and what are they going to do about this?
You heard my wife, Sheriff. If I were you, I wouldn't cross her.
She's your wife, Nathan. It's not my job to control her.
I do my job, Dunnigan. Now how about doing yours? You hear that, Sheriff? These are your constituents. Now you're going to do your civic duty and round up these stolen kids and redistribute them fairly, or are we?
Now see here, what do you expect?
Get out of our way, Sheriff. You had your chance. The men of this town have work to do. Tonight.
Facing down the wrong end of an angry mob is just about one of the scariest things one can do in this world. I almost felt
sorry for Sheriff Dunnigan right up to the point where he decided he could do more good than harm just by joining in with that herd of conscientious Christians. I reckon he figured it was his way of keeping his job and not getting trampled to death in the bargain. Poor Sister Irene and those other nuns I rode out west with on the train, those poor women all stayed locked up in their hotel room in fear of getting raped or hung. Meanwhile, a pack of Protestant husbands from Clifton and Morenci all got together and rounded up every single one of those orphans that had been previously distributed amongst the Norteño families.
Open up in there, comprende?
They all got around to visiting the Chacons about an hour after midnight, all bound and determined to give them kids a decent, white, un-Catholic upbringing if it was the last thing to happen to them. And judging from that mob, it almost was.
What's going on outside, Jerome? I'm scared. Why are those men screaming?
I don't know, Kathy, but it sounds like they don't like us.
Is there a problem tonight, Jefe?
No problem, Cornelio, if you open that door.
Cornelio, espera!
We've come for our kids.
Your kids, this is some kind of misunderstanding.
And you made it.
Get out of our way. There they are. Grab them kids.
Children, you're coming back to the Morenci Hotel where you'll be safe. Don't be scared. It's for your own good.
I don't understand.
You don't, huh? Look how scared they are. What did you people do? Beat them?
That mob came for Kathy and me, and they took us. I tell you now, I was a little confused. The way everyone kept pulling at me, I never felt so important in all my life. And this was only my first night in Arizona.
No, mis niños, no, don't take them.
I tell you though, I did feel a little sorry for the Chacones, especially Mrs. Chacone, who had been so nice to Kathy and me. And I just knew from the looks on those faces of my rescuers, I wouldn't be having any more watermelon for a long, long time.
Go to sleep, you little baby. Go to sleep, you little baby. Your mama's gone away and your daddy's gonna stay. Didn't leave nobody but the baby. Go to sleep, you little baby.
Someone wiser than me once said, it takes a whole village to raise a child right.
I've had a long and critical look around since I was a little boy back in Clifton, Arizona, and for the sake of argument, I generally agree with that statement. I said generally. You see, it might take a village to raise a child right, but it still takes the right village. And so, with all the hullabaloo of Barnum and Bailey, the long and legal battle that would determine our fates began. Everyone, it seemed, had gotten into the circus, including all the influential papers of the day. Mexican purchasers of New York orphans surrender slaveholdings in terror as vigilantes appear, read the headlines. Inflamed citizens swept the Mexicans from the city, read another. Arizona vigilantes rescue 40 infants sold at auction. And my favorite, save orphans from bondage. These were the kind of headlines that sold newspapers back in 1905 in Arizona, where the word vigilantes wasn't so bad, not compared to the word Mexicans, and where the more lawful and visionary Arizonans all had their eyes fixed on statehood. Back east, other headlines suggested a different story. Arizona mob law. Children held prisoners. Sisters of Charity persecuted. Dregs of the nation now holding infants. Back then, depending on which newspaper you read, the truth around these parts got a little scarce. Prejudice, of course, doesn't limit itself, or those who do its bidding, to race or religion, or even what newspaper you read. Geography plays a big part to prejudice, too.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All rise and face the flag. The Arizona Territorial Supreme Court, the Honorable Judge Kent presiding, will now come to order.
The hearing took place in downtown Phoenix about 3.5 months after our abduction and rescue, or rescue and abduction, depending on how you view things. It was the outraged citizens of Clifton Morenci versus the Catholic Foundling Hospital of New York City and the undesirable and now unseen and unprecedented foster parents of Taco Flats. And while their legal custody remained in dispute, 16 of the orphans remained in the temporary custody of their new families. 20 of the children that had been forcibly removed from their Norteño foster parents that first evening by Anglo vigilantes were quickly farmed out elsewhere. Most of these children were 2 years old or younger. During the 3 months they remained in the custody of their new guardians, strong bonds had formed. Some folks might even go so far to say these little bouncing rubber ball orphans never had it so good.
Furthermore, these petitions will show that one of the children, William Norton, was abandoned to the keeping of a Mexican Indian whose name is unknown to the respondent.
Unknown because no one had bothered to ask.
And who was unable to properly feed, clothe, shelter, maintain, and educate said children, and who was otherwise, by reason of his race, mode of living, habits, and education, entirely unfit to have the care, control, and custody of said minor.
Those good citizens White Anglo-Saxon Protestants all. Weren't fooling anybody but themselves, maybe. Indeed, they prevaricated quite eloquently, and that bleeding heart muckraker the Catholics back in New York hired wasn't much better.
These children were all born branded with a scarlet star, and it is one of the functions of the hospital to remove that scar from the eyes of the world. The sisters recognize in this scar a fatal handicap, and in placing the innocents always had in mind getting them where the facts of a sinister birth would not be known.
What does that man mean, Jerome? Sinister at birth?
Quiet, Kathy. Can't you see he's defending us?
Yeah, that was me, all right. Branded sinister at birth and with a scarlet scar, a fatal handicap. With a helpful introduction like that, well, by then, everyone's minds were pretty much made up. And for me and the rest of those orphans, it never got any better than that.
Whereupon Mr. Gotti, his servants and employees, unlawfully and with force and violence, entered into the house of the said person, where at the time of said unlawful entrance, the said child was found and taken forcibly.
Despite the highfalutin legalese, it all came down to the best interests of the child. Interpretive concepts at best. Being minors and orphans to boot, no one ever asked Kathy or me or any of the other orphans what constituted our best interests. Looking around the courtroom that day, I saw that our best interests came down to everyone else's self-interests. The Norteños who originally adopted us, the Anglos who wanted to keep us, not to mention the courts, the state, and now the newspapers. And at this point, it would have taken a King Solomon in all his worldly wisdom to come up with a solution acceptable by all. But this was the territory of Arizona in 1905, and we didn't have much wisdom sitting up there on that bench. What we had was one Arizona Chief Justice Elijah Kent.
With the existence of a legal right on either side, while properly a factor to be taken into consideration in determining the welfare of the children, is not conclusive upon the court. The welfare of the children by the controlling, vital, and determinative fact.
And you could hear for yourself, Judge Kent weren't no King Solomon.
Quiet in court, quiet in the court. And now where was I?
After the initial arguments were made, everyone with a dog in the fight got into the circus, even the Catholic Children's Aid Society, starting with Sister Irene. Poor Irene. I'm not saying certain self-interest in that courtroom had influenced the sister, but by then, that poor woman, 3,000 miles from her sacraments and her mulligan stew, began to fear for her life. You see, prejudices ran deep in those days, and this wasn't just a simple case of brown versus white or Catholic versus Protestant, but also East versus West and us against them. And what's personal conviction when pitted against all that? Yeah, by the time Attorney McFarland got through with Sister Irene, I almost felt sorry for that woman too.
Please tell the court, and in your own words, Sister Eileen, what you saw with your own eyes the evening of October 1st when that train pulled into the Clifton-Morenci station.
Well, I'll try. As we came to Arizona, we saw dark-skinned, ragged people about the depot living in adobes. They were the first Mexicans we had ever seen, and a destitute, uninviting lot they were.
And what happened next?
Those Mexicans jumped on the railroad car, came inside, and swarmed over us like a horde of savages.
A horde of savages, did you say?
I don't know how else to describe it.
I bet you never saw anything like it back in New York, did you?
I most certainly haven't. And just as soon as this hearing is over, I'm going back there as quickly as I can.
Thank you very much for your testimony, sister. You are dismissed from further questioning.
Does this mean I can go home now?
It does. And have a safe trip back.
Yes, everyone back in Clifton-Morenci now had something to say about those degraded Mexicans living in filth and squalor who dared to adopt sight unseen those poor Anglo orphans from New York. Everyone, that is, except the adoptive parents themselves, who had voluntarily chosen to stay as far away as possible from the judicial proceedings in Phoenix.
There's this one woman, I think she goes by the name of Mercedes, in town who's ragged and lives with a man not her husband who takes in washing now and then and gets drunk. Sheriff Dunnigan has her in jail right now. I think that's why she's not here. He's had her behind bars about 3 times in the last month.
Or maybe being degraded third-class citizens of their own community, these norteños already knew. Had they even dared to speak in their defense, they could expect retributions for their testimony from the upstanding citizens of Clifton Morenci. Whatever their reasons, they stayed away, and that didn't help their defense much.
They came into our house and stole our children's, Cornelio. They stole them.
And what will you have me do, Margarita? Steal them back? In this country?
This fight over legal custody was between the Catholics back in New York, who put the orphans up for adoption, and the staunch citizens of Arizona, who rescued those abandoned children from a life of unspeakable degradation at the hands of social inferiors.
Unfit and unworthy to raise decent white-skinned children.
The testimony on both sides devolved into a battle of semantics where only in a court of law and maybe in a few religious institutions, a mob becomes a committee meeting and a kidnapping becomes a charitable act. In Judge Kent's own words, this conflict took place between 2 factions, Americans on one hand and half-breed Mexican Indians on the other. Was there ever any doubt as to what side the railroad tracks this ruling would lean? The degraded half-breed Indians, or the good women of Clifton Morenci? And since, according to the ruling, neither party held an overwhelming legal claim to the children, the court ruled in favor of the party that could best provide for the foundlings, those who had, on the night of October, first responded with humanitarian impulse and actuated by motives of sympathy for their pitiful condition.
Assisted in the rescue of the children from the evil to which they had fallen. Down to the time of their attendance at this trial, at a cost of much time and money, in their loving care and attention, have shown that more than ordinary ties of affection bind them to these children, and that, in no other homes that can be found for them, are they so likely to fare as well. Therefore, this court feels, and on these grounds, that it is for their best interest that no change be made in their custody.
Funny how nobody ever asked me or any of the other orphans at the trial our opinion in the matter.
Then again, I grew up on the streets of New York, and I know raisins from rat droppings when I see them. The return to Clifton Morenci was a joyous occasion for all. The local band played America, which brought cheers and tears to everyone gathered at the station. Meanwhile, attorney Eugene Ives, legal representative for the New York Foundling Hospital, who had lost their case in Phoenix, filed an appeal with the U.S. Supreme Court, but the court dismissed the appeal on grounds for want of jurisdiction.
The child in question is a white Caucasian child, abandoned, to the keeping of a Mexican Indian whose name is unknown to the respondent.
Unknown to the court to this day.
But one by name of his race, mode of living, habit, and education, unfit to have the custody, care, and education of the child.
All this took place in the years 1904 to 1906. Doubtless as a nation, we are all a little older and wiser. Sister Irene and the other sisters all made it back safe and sound to New York and the Foundling Hospital, where they continued to do good work. Sheriff Dunnigan kept his job as Constable of Morenci. Margarita Chacon had 2 more miscarriages and remained childless to her death. It was
God's own retribution for the way those people choose to live.
Was how a few of the Protestants in town whispered to each other. Catherine Fitzpatrick, my sister, for one evening, now officially became Catherine Wright, and she continued to live in Clifton, where she now went to a Protestant church with her new foster parents. Me, I was considered too old for adoption by the good people of Clifton Morenci, and so I was put on a train back to New York, along with several other unadoptable orphans. I think the other 2 kids had scabies, which they had contracted back in the orphanage before going west. Well, like I said, all this happened a long time ago. Since then, I've seen quite a bit of this country and what people, good, solid citizens, will do to each other when prejudice and self-righteousness get in the way. I've seen a lynching in Alabama. Once I stood outside a federal prison in Boston where a couple of Italian fellas named Sacco and Vincetti got strapped to the electric chair for a murder they did not commit. In the war in France, I saw what two opposing armies can do to each other with mustard gas and machine guns when both sides are convinced God is on their side. Later, I came back to this country, a minor war hero, traveled about here and there by train, including Arizona, which finally became a state back in 1912. Yeah, I've seen a lot in my time. And it wasn't all bad either. I've seen what people at their best, good, selfless people, do for each other when they get pushed around hard enough. Sometime after the Great War, I got a job as a railroad engineer, but I lost that job about 10 years later, just before the Great Depression. Now I'm just another homeless orphan. I'm still riding the rails, though. Always will, I guess.
Maybe because once, way back in 1904, in a place called Taco Flats, I learned what watermelon tasted like and what hope sounded like from a distance.
Today, well, for me, hope is still the sound of a locomotive, the sound it makes when I climb aboard an empty boxcar.
Go to sleep, you little baby. Go to sleep, you little baby. Your mom's gone away and your daddy's gonna stay. Didn't leave nobody but the baby.
The role of young Jerome was played by Quentin Hart. The adult Jerome was Benji Carter. Jerome's sister Kathy was portrayed by Luca Soca, and Joanne Fox was Sister Irene. Mr. and Mrs. Chacon were played by Christian Supiat and Martha Nuno. Delane Krager was Mrs. Simpson, and Sheriff Dunnigan was played by Bill McKinney. Mr. and Mrs. Gotti were Derek Hill and Kathy Fouch. Gary Lewis played Attorney McFarland. Andy Nelson played Attorney Ives. John Krager was Judge Kett. And Mike Cagley was Supreme Court Judge William Day. Our audio technician is Maji Swain. Assistant audio technician Isabella Swain. Our acoustical sound effects guy Joshua Hall. And I'm your announcer, Ralph Swain. Ladies and gentlemen, the Columbia Broadcasting Service and its affiliates make this special announcement. Today, the nations of the free world are faced with a tyrant that threatens our democracy. The dictator has attacked the free press, bullied college professors to speak the truth, sent the military to control our cities, banned books in schools, terrorized our allies, and rounded up and arrested citizens because they don't look like him and his party. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking about Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party. Many of our CBS listeners say to us, "But what can I do?" There is something we all can do to stop this dictator. Go to your nearest post office or your bank and purchase a $25 war bond, and these victory bonds will help us and our allies fight and defend our democracy and our freedoms. Remember, we can make addition. Buy war bonds. Thank you.
Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz. Refreshing Schlitz, the world's best-selling beer at any price you pay. One of the finest things in life everyone can enjoy today. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality. Move up to Schlitz.
Yes, the joy of good living. The Pabst Brewing Company invites you to treat yourself to one of the finest things in life. Move up and enjoy Schlitz quality today. Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality. Move up to Schlitz. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality. Move up to Schlitz.
And remember, folks, when you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. The following song was written by Jay Livingston and Ray Evans for the 1956 Alfred Hitchcock mystery movie, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Julie Halas.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Que sera, sera.
Thank you, Julie. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us for this performance of the Great Plains Radio Theater Project. And now our GPR players. Mike Kegley, Benji Cotter, Joanne Fox, Chad Gall, Quentin Hart, Derek Hill, Julie Halas, Delane Krager, John Krager, Gary Lewis, Bill McKinney, Andy Nelson, Martha Nuno, Kathy Fouch, Lucas Oka, and Christian Supiat, and our illustrious crew members, Foley, our acoustical sound artist, Joshua Gall, our audio technician, Maji Swain, up in the back, audio assistant, Isabella Swain, our ticket taker and concessionaire, Joe Ross. I'm your announcer and director for the Great Plains Radio Theater, Ralph Swain. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in December.